In Show Me Your Room, the opening scene paints a vivid portrait of Macy, a suburban wife whose life is defined by quiet desperation and mounting isolation. And through her, we see a deeply relatable narrative for many LGBTQ individuals and women at large. Macy's marriage of 2 years has already lost its spark, but the subtext suggests that the spark may never have existed at all. This detail is crucial. It signals that Macy's journey isn't simply about marital dissatisfaction, but about a deeper misalignment between the life she's living and the identity she's suppressing. Her personal hell is not just a stagnant marriage, but the suffocating experience of living inauthentically. This resonates profoundly with lesbian and bisexual women who have entered heterosexual marriages or relationships as a way of conforming to societal expectations, only to find themselves unfulfilled and yearning for something more genuine. As Masie experiments with her sexuality in secret, listening to erotic lesbian audiobooks and fantasizing about other women, we witness the internal struggle of a woman on the cusp of self-discovery, a narrative echoing countless real-life experiences of LGBTQ people whose desires cannot be fully repressed, even in environments designed to suppress them. Her routine, caring little for her husband's plans, mindlessly preparing a pot roast, drifting further into her own inner world, shows how alienated she feels from the traditional role of suburban wife. The pot roast becomes a symbol of her automatic, performative life, an embodiment of the tasks she's expected to perform as a wife without any emotional connection to them. This sense of alienation is a core theme in lesbian narratives that depict women who play straight because they feel they have no other choice, all while their inner desires build quietly until they threaten to erupt. Maisie's emotional hunger and her private rituals, earbuds, audiobooks, fantasies, demonstrate the resilience of desire. Even when repressed, it finds expression, however covert. This is deeply relatable for LGBTQ viewers who recognize the tension between the life they are living and the life they long for. And it also resonates with many straight women who feel trapped in roles that leave them disconnected from their authentic selves. The arrival of Andrea is the catalytic moment of the story. When Masie discovers that her husband's boss is a woman and that she has brought along her wife, Andrea, the script deliberately contrasts the bland domesticity of Macie's life with the vibrant, confident presence of this lesbian couple. Andrea, especially, represents everything Masie craves: self-assurance, freedom, sensuality, and authenticity. For Masie, Andrea is not just a person, but an embodiment of possibility, a living refutation of the idea that women must sacrifice their desires for the sake of appearances. This moment powerfully mirrors the real-world experiences of closeted or questioning women who encounter openly queer women and feel simultaneously terrified and electrified by the mirror held up to their own desires. Lesbian viewers will recognize the subtle cues, lingering glances, ankle brushes under the table, as coded expressions of interest that occur in environments where overt flirtation might be risky or misunderstood. Macie's inability to keep her eyes off Andrea throughout dinner, and Andrea's reciprocated glances, encapsulate the electric charge of forbidden attraction. Their dynamic resonates with a universal human experience, the thrill of recognition when someone sees you, truly sees you, in a way others do not. But in a heteronormative context, especially one as buttoned up as a suburban dinner party, this recognition carries extra weight. It threatens to disrupt not only marriages, but also entire identities. And this is why Masie's mind races when Andrea suggests they tour the house alone. The suggestion is fraught with tension because it offers Masie the possibility of acting on feelings she has only ever explored in secret. This setup reflects a classic theme in LGBTQ culture: the private, liminal space where authenticity can emerge, bedrooms, back rooms, quiet corners, away from the surveillance of the heterosexual world. Masie's fear at this moment is also profoundly relatable. Even when an opportunity to act on desire presents itself, internalized shame and fear of consequences can be paralyzing. This speaks to the broader LGBTQ experience of risk assessment in intimate encounters, evaluating not only whether the other person reciprocates, but also what the fallout could be if they do. For Masie, the stakes are enormous: her marriage, her reputation, her self-concept. Yet the pull toward Andrea also signals that the life she's been living no longer satisfies her. Lesbian and bisexual women watching this scene may recognize the moment of no going back, the pivotal point where desire, once named and acted upon, cannot be ignored or reburied. Thematically, Show Me Your Room also reflects the shifting landscape of female sexuality in a culture still deeply ambivalent about women's desires, especially when those desires are directed toward other women. By showing Masie as someone who has internalized shame yet longs for authenticity, the film critiques a society that conditions women to perform heterosexuality even when it doesn't fit. This also answers the question of why society hates seeing two girls in love. Lesbian desire disrupts the heterosexual matrix that underpins patriarchal systems. It redirects women's emotional and sexual energy away from men, undermining the patriarchal assumption that women exist primarily, as objects of male desire, or as caretakers for men's emotional needs. In the case of Masie, her yearning for Andrea represents not just a sexual awakening, but also a threat to the social order of her marriage and her husband's professional world. Moreover, Andrea's confidence and open queerness embody the alternative path Macy might have had if she'd been able to live authentically from the start. This contrast underscores another key aspect of LGBTQ culture, the importance of representation and visibility. For closeted or questioning individuals, seeing someone living openly can be both terrifying and inspiring. Andrea's presence at Macy's dinner table is akin to a disruptive revelation. Here is a woman who has chosen authenticity and built a life around it, arriving like a specter of possibility into Masie's carefully constructed but crumbling world. Women in general can relate to Masie's experience because it dramatizes a broader theme of forbidden desire and the longing to break free from prescribed roles. Whether it's about sexuality, career, or lifestyle choices, many women have felt trapped in lives that don't reflect their true selves. Masie's yearning and fear capture the universal tension between safety and authenticity, between the life we have and the life we secretly want. This is why Show Me Your Room resonates beyond LGBTQ audiences. It speaks to anyone who has ever stood at the precipice of change, trembling between longing and fear. From a cultural standpoint, the story also highlights how women's sexuality, particularly lesbian sexuality, is often trivialized or stigmatized. Masie's erotic audiobooks and fantasies have been a secret indulgence, reflecting how lesbian desire is still relegated to the private sphere rather than celebrated openly. Her encounter with Andrea threatens to break that boundary, to take her desire from fantasy to reality. This shift from imagination to action mirrors the broader journey of many LGBTQ individuals as they move from private self-recognition to public authenticity. Finally, the scene's tension, Masie's fear of no going back, underscores the stakes of authenticity. For many lesbian and bisexual women, acknowledging desire and acting on it can mean the loss of relationships, status, and security. But it also promises the possibility of real fulfillment and selfhood. This duality, risk and liberation, defines much of LGBTQ life and culture. It is also why lesbian audiences may see themselves in Masie's hesitations, while straight women may relate to the broader experience of confronting desires or life changes that could upend their existing world. In its totality, Show Me Your Room is more than a story about potential infidelity or a suburban wife's secret longings. It's a story about identity, repression, and the catalytic power of meeting someone who embodies what you most desire but have been too afraid to claim. It offers a window into the emotional reality of women who have been conditioned to suppress their authentic selves and the transformative, terrifying thrill of finally feeling seen. By centering Masie's internal struggle, the film humanizes lesbian desire as part of a broader human struggle for authenticity and connection, countering the stigmatization of same-sex attraction with a portrayal rooted in empathy, realism, and emotional truth. Ultimately, Masie's story shows that lesbian love, and indeed any form of love that defies social expectations, threatens established norms because it represents autonomy, equality, and self-definition. Yet it is precisely these qualities that make it so resonant and so necessary. By dramatizing Masie's awakening through her attraction to Andrea, Show Me Your Room illuminates the universal themes of longing, fear, and the quest for authentic connection, making clear that the desire between two women is not something deviant or niche, but a profound expression of human need. Lesbian viewers can relate to the subtle signals and coded interactions. Women in general can empathize with Masie's entrapment and yearning. And audiences as a whole can recognize in this story the courage it takes to break free from the life you've been told to live in order to embrace the life you truly want. In doing so, the film underscores a simple yet radical truth. Love between two women is as real, as powerful, and as transformative as any other love, and society's discomfort with it only underscores how deeply it challenges the status quo.